Okay, so in the last part we saw the phases, right? We saw this, then we saw this, and the different events of the atria, ventricles, we all saw that. Now we'll be seeing some fractions, some volumes which you get confused with. It's not at all confusing, I'll just tell you in few minutes. See, what we know is ejection fraction, it is 60%. How this 60% comes, I'll tell you this. End diastolic volume. What is end diastolic volume? This end diastolic volume. This end means at the end. Diastolic means the relaxation. And whenever we say systolic, diastolic, and we don't mention it's of atria or ventricle, it is talking about ventricles. This is the rule, okay? You can't change it. If in the question it's not written of they are talking about atria or ventricles, they are obviously talking about ventricles. So now when we see end diastolic volume, end systolic volume, this is about ventricles. End diastolic meaning at the end of diastole, that is relaxation of the ventricles. Okay, at the end of the relaxation of the ventricles. And you all know at the end of the relaxed state there will be much blood in the ventricles which it has taken from the atria. At the end of relaxation, when it is just going to pump out the blood, before that it will have maximum blood, and that is 120 ml blood. We are talking just about one heartbeat, okay? Just remember that we are talking about one heartbeat. Whenever there is one phase, one cardiac cycle, then at the end of the relaxed state, at the end of the diastole, end diastolic volume is 120. Now the end systolic is when the blood is pumped out of the ventricle. Remember, in the ventricle, once it has pumped out blood, it is never going to happen that the ventricle is empty. Never it is empty, okay? So always there will be some amount of blood remaining inside the ventricle. There will be some amount of blood always remaining inside the ventricle, even after the contraction, full contraction of the ventricles. So end diastolic volume is 120, that is at the end of the diastole or at the beginning of the contraction it will have 120 ml. But once it contracts there will be some amount of blood that will be moving out. There is some amount of blood remaining inside the ventricles. So this amount of blood which it pumps out, that is known as stroke volume. That is one stroke that is blood forced out in one stroke, one heartbeat. How much amount of blood it has stroked out, it has pumped out, that is the stroke volume, which is 70 ml. And whatever blood here it's remaining inside the ventricles even after stroke, that is known as end systolic volume. Okay, so when you see the calculation here, it's very easy. The end diastolic was 120. It was having 120 ml of blood. This I am drawing just one ventricle, okay? And this is the pulmonary artery or the aorta. You can take it as aorta because what is important for us is the left ventricle. It supplies blood to the body. When we see, this is the left ventricle, okay? When we see at the end diastolic volume was 120 ml, okay? 120 ml. But what happens is, it out of this 120 ml it strokes out 70 ml. So when you subtract 70 and 120, it comes out to be 50. That is only 50 ml will be remaining after losing 70 ml of blood. Now you understand from where this comes. When you subtract end diastolic from end systolic, it comes out 70. This is the stroke volume. In one heartbeat, the heart will pump out 70 ml of blood into the aorta, or if it is from the right ventricle, it will be to the pulmonary artery. Seeing the cardiac output, what is cardiac output? It is the amount of blood that is circulating in our body in 1 minute. So in 1 minute, we all know that in 1 minute the heart will beat 72 times, right? And in one heartbeat, the amount of blood that is going out into the body is 70 ml, because the stroke volume is 70 ml. So this 72, oh sorry, this my mistake, this is not ml, this is beats. 72 beats per minute, and in one beat there is 70 ml per beat. Okay, so when you see here 70 ml is the blood in one beat, and there are 72 beats in a minute. So in a minute what happens is there is 5000, you when you multiply it comes out approximately to 5000 ml. So it is 5000 ml per minute of blood, per minute of cardiac output. And remember this cardiac output, when we tell, we are talking about right and left separately, that is from the right one and from the left one. From each side of the heart there will be 5 liters of blood coming out per minute. You understand this? 5 liters of blood coming out per minute from each side of the heart. Okay, so we'll just end up here. If you have any queries, you can comment in our comment box. Thank you so much.